Check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hole in the Wall. I am going to do another update on news around the world. So I will not be doing a lot focused on one topic just because there's so much news happening every single day that it's hard to keep track of the multiple different stories that are coming out. So I'm just going to do little snippets here and there and put links in the description down below so you can read it for yourself and whatnot. So, Russian foreign minister met with Chinese foreign minister. The discussion between the two went smoothly. The two talked about international issues, relations between Russia and China, as well as strengthening corporations or cooperations. It was lost in translation. Russia is satisfied with negotiations in Istanbul. The most important to Russia is that Ukraine is to remain neutral, making sure Ukraine stays out of NATO. And this was I think 2 to 3 minute interview that was done by a company called CGTN, and it is a Chinese government funded news station, and I followed them on YouTube to keep up with what's current, and with Russia going back and forth between China and talking to the foreign minister and whatnot. I try to keep in touch with their local news. So I will have that down below so you can check out. And on other news, Donald Trump claimed on the 29th of March that the mayor of Moscow's wife gave both Hunter and Joe Biden $3.5 million. Trump believes Putin would know the answer why, so he's calling on Putin to release such information. And if you don't know what the laptop means for the Biden family, is that the Bidens could basically be canned. I'm not sure about Joe Biden just because he's already in office and what happened with Trump and his children. And Trump, they tried to pull him in to his children's mistakes, but it didn't work out. The Biden family's in deep. Yeah. The investigation started in 2018 with Hunter's laptop. While Biden's son worked with Ukraine back when Joe Biden was vice president, Hunter allegedly did laundering and lobbying laws with a tax. So I don't understand with what a tax means, but that's what was put in a statement. It claimed that Hunter was being paid up to $50,000 a month through an energy company called Burisma. Everyone's heard of Burisma when it first came out. At that time, Joe Biden was in charge of handling issues and financing with Ukraine as Vice President of the United States. Hunter Biden was part of the Burisma board from 2014 to 2019. He was given this position despite having no formal or relative qualifications. Hunter Biden was also given $3.8 million by CEFC back in 2017. CEFC is a massive oil and gas company funded in 2002. It had financing from the government development banks and the ties to the Chinese Communist Party along with the People's Liberation Army. So people are now realizing that it wasn't a conspiracy theory like the Democrats wanted to say it was. I personally didn't think it was a conspiracy theory, but that's my opinion. And my questions just in general are with this whole thing is, did Joe Biden send Hunter over to Ukraine to keep him sober? Did Joe plan on using that money that Ukraine provided to fund his future election campaign? Did he already have in mind that he was going and willing to run for president? So that makes me think maybe Joe Biden had more of a part in it than most people think. Is this why Biden was so keen on backing Ukraine when Russia came in to invade? Now, I think that's more likely because they had a close relationship with his son and they didn't necessarily want the information about Biden, of Hunter Biden's information coming out on the laptop. So maybe that's why Joe is so keen on backing him to the best of his ability without actually going to war. And maybe that's why he's so just gung-ho on this whole thing. I don't know. Could this also be why Joe Biden won't confront China about threats towards Taiwan? Because China would use this definitely against him. These are all my opinions and speculations. I believe that could be a huge possibility, for sure, on why Joe Biden does not want to get in the conflict with China between Taiwan. And that's probably why he's putting all his focus onto Ukraine right now. And I find it kind of funny that these two countries are in conflict, and specifically Biden had his hands in them. I know he claims that he doesn't, but how would you not know, being the vice president and handling Ukraine affairs, how would you not know that your own flesh and blood, or anyone in general, how would you not know that they were meddling in affairs in such ways? I do not understand that. I don't believe that. So unless he actually paid someone else to look into specific Ukraine affairs and then told them to keep their mouth shut, there's no way that he had no idea that it was his son was doing that. So that's a false claim right there. And in other news, earlier this week, President Biden was caught with a cheat sheet. He's been caught with it many times. A cheat sheet, a pre-typed up pamphlet with questions and answers to those questions. The pictures of the pamphlet from the press conference shows word for word what he had said in that speech. There have been several occasions where Joe Biden pulled out a pamphlet to directly read from it. Back in November of last year, Biden, quote, "I'll take your questions, and as usual, folks, they gave me a list of people I'm going to call on," unquote. March 25th, Biden told U.S. troops in Poland that you could see the courage of Ukrainians when you're there. Now, this really PO'd Putin when he heard this. It got a fire up his butt for sure. So after he had said that, Biden's comments were seized on by the Kremlin and President Vladimir Putin's allies. Kremlin spokesman told reporters, "This is a statement that is certainly alarming, and last week," Biden said, "NATO would respond, quote, in kind, unquote, if Russia forces used chemical weapons," forcing another official to clarify that the U.S. had no intention on using chemical weapons. This is the update for the week. A lot happens day to day, so I might just be doing either quick snippets every day of what's going on, or every other day, or once a week. I don't know yet, because it's so much information at once, you can't keep up. So here's the first weekly, daily, I don't know yet, but thanks for listening. I will see you around, and take care.
Among this clan, you are called the forgotten man.
Is that what they're saying? Or did you ever wanna swell?